The business knowledge broker out.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business, marketing, accounting, social media, resources, strategies, tips.
Hey guys, this is Candace Joseph back for another great episode of the Business Knowledge Broker Hour with Candace Joseph. Look, each and every week, you know I'm bringing you the best in entrepreneurship land. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are in this space. We want to make sure that we give you your flowers while you are here, and we definitely want to spread some education along the way. My guest today, listen, when I tell you this guy is musical talent extraordinaire, he is most definitely that. We want to welcome to the stage, William Campbell.
Hello, great to be here. I'm glad to be here and do this interview with you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I am excited.
Well, look, I'm glad you are excited because, listen, I know a lot of people are tuning in right now because really you are truly a household name. Like you're known everywhere in the space of gospel music. But this is the thing. I want you to kind of tell people a little bit about your background and some of your greatness.
Yeah, so my, to piggyback on what you said about gospel, my background is from the church.
Yeah.
But my genre is not. And we'll dig deeper into that, throughout the interview. But gospel soul is a genre of music that I originated and created and became very popular around the world when I was 27 years old. So my genre is a mixture of soul, pop, reggae, contemporary gospel, and a few other things, funk as well, which makes up that genre. So it's really in both worlds, but bringing two worlds together, promoting love, unity, and peace. So that's the background of that, in a short paraphrasing.
Okay.
But my background, I did come from the church.
Yeah.
I was raised in church. We didn't really have too much of a choice. So it was either go to church and have God or, get out of the house. So we did that, and I grew up in the church, and that's where my foundation was and still is.
Yeah.
Even though I do mostly entertainment, secular things now, more than I did before.
Yeah.
Even though I was in that world then, but it's even the more now. Like it's 24/7 now. So.
Yeah. Well, the thing of it is that I've watched you grow over the last few years in the space of music, and the thing about it is you've had some top charting hits.
Yeah.
I love the song Impacts.
Yeah.
So like the thing about it is like you've had some hits. How many albums you got now?
Ooh.
I know, right? Look, I got to make you think about it. You're like, you're an interviewer,
because I have albums, I have music that has never even been released.
Yeah.
And then I wrote music as well for other artists.
Okay.
So I have a whole discography of songs that I myself have originally written for my albums and also have written for other artists for their music. Yeah. And so I'll say this next one that's coming out.
Yeah.
It's called The Musical Evolution, The King of Gospel Soul.
I can't wait to hear that one.
Oh yeah,
because the thing about it is the teaser tracks on that are hot.
Yeah,
so it's
you
like,
heard it. The one I shared was My Journey.
Yes,
that's a Donny Hathaway, Aretha type style.
Okay. So since we on that point, right? Tell me about some of your like musical like influences. Like who are the people that you said like you grew up in the church, but some people that grow up in the church, they don't have to necessarily go into the music part of it, right?
Right.
But like who are some of your influences that you could sit there and say, yeah, this song got me, this artist got me.
Right.
Who are those people?
So I'll say this, growing up in the church, does not mean that outside the church that I sung gospel, because I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm classically and operatically trained. And so we weren't allowed to sing gospel because gospel was considered to be a vocal ruiner.
Got it. Okay.
And you probably can see why they say that.
Yeah.
And so we did nothing but secular. We had to sing in other languages. We had to sing classical music and opera and R&B and soul and funk. So we were singing other genres of music that we weren't allowed to sing gospel. So I wasn't singing gospel outside the church.
Yeah.
Be honest with you, I didn't really know gospel songs, but the ones they were singing in church.
Right, like you didn't know any of the artists, you didn't know any.
I mean, I did. Don't get me wrong, I did because I grew up around a lot of the celebs and big names and gospel stuff like that because I was around them all the time. But as far as singing it, no.
Okay.
And to go back to what you said, my influences, a lot of my influences, and my number one actually is Aretha Franklin.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll say this, Aretha and James Brown are number one for me.
Yeah, I like James Brown too.
Because I've studied both of them. And I studied James Brown as a kid.
Okay.
And so I was doing James Brown moves and stuff in middle school.
Nice.
And now it's become a career. You see what I'm saying? a part of my career.
But see, that's just the thing, like things that you get from your childhood, how it can evolve into adulthood and become a part of your skill set, right?
Right, exactly.
So when you were a youth, did you ever think, I'm going to grow up to be an entertainer, I'm going to grow up to be a singer, I'm going to be known worldwide? Did you have those thoughts when you were a kid?
Believe it or not, yeah.
Yeah?
So, and anybody that grew up with me or went to school with me or some of my siblings, they'll tell you that everything I said, I did.
Okay.
I was a kid and I would look at the old Bishop Carlton Pearson, Azusa.
Yeah.
And I said, everybody on there, I want to meet and go work with and have a relationship with. And majority of everybody that was on Azusa, I have a relationship with, or I work with, including Bishop Carlton Pearson, who's a friend of mine.
That's amazing.
And I've been on platforms with the Clark sisters. I've been on, Beverly Crawford.
Yeah.
Daryl Coley, Walter Hawkins. Really, basically all the singers that would come on there, majority of them, I have come in contact with, group around them.
Okay.
I've got a relationship with them to this day.
And see, I like that because not only were you influenced by the past, you brought it to the present.
I did.
In your musical styling. And this is the thing. To the audience that's watching right now, when he talks about gospel soul, when I say it's something that is invigorating, it makes you move, but it makes you think as well.
Right.
So it's kind of like, how do I say it? It's a little mix of both worlds, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the thing. Because you grew up in the church, because you've worked with all these great gospel artists, globally, what do they think about the gospel soul? What do they think about it?
I work with them secular and gospel, so when it go back to when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Me having my own genre of music or creating a genre of music was never in my foresight.
Yeah.
Never. Because I looked at James Brown, I looked at Aretha, I looked at Elvis, I looked at Michael Jackson, I looked at Little Richard, I looked at Ray Charles. Even though all of them did not innovate or originate a genre, Ray Charles did, James Brown did, Little Richard did.
Okay.
And I looked at how their lives were or became.
Okay.
Because of the weight or the impact of them creating a genre and not just being the originator or the architect of it, but being the king, the godfather, whatever else, the genre. And it becomes their legacy.
Yes.
And so I looked at the lifestyle, I was like, oh my God, this is a life. I mean, because it's no longer about you.
Yes.
Now you have included the entire world of music and arts and entertainment.
Yeah.
And so I never had that in my thought pattern. But I did say when I was a child that I was going to be famous. I was going to be a superstar. I was going to have global influence.
Okay.
I was going to have my own companies. I was going to be entertained. I was going to travel the world and tour everywhere. I was going to win all type of awards, and I was going to get awards from the president, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's crazy to look back at then having those conversations, and then also promising my mom that I was going to win her a bunch of awards. And to be honest with you, I never thought in a million years that I'd do all that in my 20s.
Yeah.
That I would literally make world and global history recognized as someone that has pioneered, revolutionized, redefined music history and the entertainment or music itself with this genre, and how big of an impact that it actually has made around the world. And to see recently my genre of music is in several different award shows in different states.
Yeah.
And to see people, I'm living, I'm not dead, I'm living, seeing my legacy coming into fruition to where people are nominated for my genre.
Okay. Look, I think for me, I love the fact that when you entertain, you're a performer all the way around, and you take people through the decades, right?
Right.
So look, if you have not caught a William Campbell show, get there and get there quick. Because he takes you through the decades of music.
Right.
And not, like you said before, R&B, soul, blues, gospel, a little bit of reggae, a little bit of pop. I love it. And the reason why I love it because your love for music, it shines. You know how people have that glow about them?
Right, exactly.
You know? And it's one of those things. When you see William walk into a room, right, you see him literally transform when he's about to get on stage.
Mm-hmm.
He walk in all mellow, cool and stuff, you know. He walk in real cool. And then right before they're about to call his name, you just see this transformation. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, William.
It's like you tap into a whole other different realm.
Yeah.
And it's like I can go for hours. And you've seen me.
I've seen
me.
Yeah, I've seen you perform. And the thing about it is that I love the fact that you don't look at it as a job. You look at it as really something that's passionate, and you want people to get excited about music, right?
Exactly.
So you know I got to tap into the business side a little bit of music and entertainment.
Right.
What has been some of the lessons that you've learned? Like,
don't trust everybody.
Well,
you want to be honest? Yeah. I mean, when you dealing with Hollywood or entertainment industry as a whole, and you're dealing with all these labels and entertainment companies, and this person saying this, and you know, when you're a hot commodity, and you begin to have status and fame, and now where I'm at now in my position, I'm looked at as a dollar sign.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you tap into that, you know, we just being honest, worth more dead than alive.
Look, see, I thought you was gonna say something boring like contracts.
No, well,
you know,
that is boring.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I was like, okay, we're gonna talk about contracts and how to make your deals, and you know what kind of record deal to get into, what not.
I mean, we're gonna go there, but I mean, I had to say that because people have to understand in this entertainment life, when you hit a certain rank or a certain position of power and influence, you become worth more dead than you do alive.
Wow. So which one do you feel out of the power and the influence Which one weighs higher? You know, just as a.
I mean,
I know it's all subjective, right? Because
Right.
everybody's life is shaped by their experiences, by their knowledge, you know, by their growth as
but
people,
see, you have
right?
to look at it. Influence is power, so it had to be influence.
Got to be influenced.
Because if I didn't have influence, I wouldn't have power.
Okay, all right. Hey, listen. Look, this is what this show is about.
Right.
Like we, you know, this is a conversation among friends because, like, outside of what you do, we really are friends,
Right.
and I definitely value your friendship
Exactly.
because you've taught me lessons in, you know, and this is the thing. Like, I'm the business guru, right? But I always tell people, you always want people around you who encourage you to be better, to push forward,
Right.
and you've done that for a lot of people, you know, on a global scale. You know, I've seen you negotiate contracts for people. I've seen you tell people, that marketing not right. And I'd be like, wait, what's wrong with it? It's great. But then certain points that you pick out, I love the fact that sometimes in those realms, I didn't see it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think that's the great thing about being in media, being in entertainment. Not only do we get to, you know, kind of rock out and hang out, and we get to see all this different cool stuff, but we get to learn from each other too.
Right. And see, the greatest thing about it is, it's not just me being the king or originator and the celebrity, but I've had all worlds.
Yeah.
So I've been in front of the camera, behind the camera.
Yeah.
I've done the media, I've done the marketing, I've done the producing, I've done the directing. I mean, so my eyes are very keen on what I want.
Okay.
And my vision of what I'm trying to portray to the audience or to the world or whoever the target is at that moment. And if it ain't right, you know I'm not doing it. If it ain't together, you know I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't do nothing half-cocked.
That's right.
I'm a perfectionist. I mean, that's how
Yes,
I grew
he
up.
is. Yes,
I'm a
he
professional.
is.
And if you ain't going to do it, then we just not going to do it at all. And funny story, and then we get back to what you were saying. But I was telling somebody the other day, I said, do you know I walked off stages because the music wasn't right?
Yeah.
I've stopped musicians in the middle of a performance and said, no,
Yeah.
we need to do this over again. I don't know what key you playing in, and I don't know what you playing, but it's not correct.
Well, I think that goes to really.
And people think that's mean or it's
No, and I don't even see it that way.
I'm not going to continue a performance the wrong way. That's not a professional. No, we're going to get this right. I wasn't ugly. I just, hey, cut the music. No, we're not going to do this. No, we need to do
Well,
this.
see,
over again.
I don't look at it like being mean, right? I look at it from the fact that you're someone who really, because I've seen your show, you really take into consideration the audience.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you really fully take into the audience because you want them to have an experience of everything that you're bringing forth.
Right.
You want them to feel it within their soul.
I want to captivate not your just
Yeah.
your mind, but your soul, your heart. I want to take you where I'm going.
Yeah.
So I'm taking you on a journey, and I want to take you into the realm where I am, because a whole nother different person comes out on that stage. It's no longer William Campbell. No, it's the king. It's we about to shut this thing down. Because now I've stepped into not just my power,
Yeah.
but my position.
Okay.
And so when you do that, if you ever have seen Elvis
Oh yeah.
or James Brown or Michael Jackson, which I know we all have,
Yep.
and when they go, they can be one way off stage and out the press and off the media, and then when they get on stage, it's like, oh, they moving in their queenship, they moving in their kingship, they moving in
Yep.
who they are, you know, as a creator or as a originator or somebody that is getting ready to take this whole house and just shift it to a whole other different. And
I love that.
They have, I mean, so many people have identified my shows and concerts as electrifying.
No.
Because
they
the
are.
energy.
Yeah.
And people may be asking, well, you don't get tired? I said, no. When I'm in my zone, I don't get tired. I can go for hours and hours and hours and hours. And you'll be more tired than I will.
Well, look, I have to say, I'm very glad that you're sitting in this seat because, look, William Campbell travels around the world. He performs almost every weekend he is somewhere, even during the middle of the week.
Right.
He is on a plane, train, or automobile coming to your city, or flying in. And I love it because when I see someone on the go like that, and to me, I see that as making impact.
Right, exactly.
And what I've noticed about you is not only do you create the impact in regards to your musical performance and the influence that you have, but any town that I see you drop into, you also do some community work as well while you're there.
Mm. Oh, yeah. I mean, on my tours, I've raised money for the less fortunate, for children, people that don't have, and then I've given to homeless.
Yeah.
I'm going out on the streets and giving, and a lot of this stuff, I didn't have to have no camera because I wasn't doing it for the cameras. I was doing it because it's not something that God only just mandated or gave me a heart for, but I have a passion for it because I don't like to see people struggle because I know what that feels like because I've been there.
Yeah.
And when you've been there and you've lived that life, and you've been homeless, you've been broke, you've been without, you slept on hard floors and all this kind of stuff and slept in cars and been back and forth to hotels and then having a shower in fitness room. So I know what that is like. And a lot of people don't know some of the surface levels of my story. Yeah. But you don't know all of it. And so you see the glam, you see the glory, you see the fame, you see the accolades, you see the impact, you see the influence, but you don't know the price that was paid to just make that impact or that influence or whatever I'm creating impactful around the world.
Now let's talk about that because a lot of times and a lot of people think they look at entrepreneurship in all of its spaces, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're a performer, DJ, business owner, have a product, or whatever you do, right? You are still an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And a lot of times we don't talk as entrepreneurs. I can honestly say we don't talk a lot about, we talk very surface about the things that we went through to get to the breakthrough or to get through to mainstream, right? But we rarely talk about our sacrifices.
And there's been plenty of sacrifices. I mean, when I was first starting out, there'd be 2, 3, 4, 5 people now. I'm just being honest. Yeah. When I first started out, and people that have been with me for years will tell you, it was by faith. Because this ain't my first time doing this. I've been doing tours for years.
Yep.
Whether it was marketplace, whether it was for the church, or whether it's for entertainment industry. And so when I first started out, it was very sketchy and slim. So I was depending on God. I was, and then a lot of things I was footing the bill for.
Yeah.
And I still had my bills to pay.
Yeah.
So, I invested a lot of my money, a lot of my time. And then, not only that, but I was also taking care of other people or feeding them or making sure they had a ride or picking them up. See, people don't know what it takes to become successful and to become an icon or a legend or somebody that has world influence. You don't know what paths they have to go through just to be in a place where they say, this is what success looks like. Yeah. But success is not success without pain, without suffering, without sacrifices, without giving up something or letting go of something or maneuvering yourself out of familiarity.
That's deep.
Right.
That's deep. No, because the thing about it is a lot of times when you're switching gears like that and you're going from either 9-to-5 work or volunteer work or whatever you're doing and you switch gears and you become an entrepreneur, a lot of people don't even want to talk about that part.
Oh, they don't want to talk about that.
They don't want to talk about that.
You're talking to somebody that God moved from a whole city.
Yeah.
And to move here just for my success. Because, and this is his words, this is what I was told. Because I was looking at God like, move to Houston. Oh, no, I'm moving to Houston. The last place I moved on earth. Too many tsunamis and hurricanes for me. I'm certified to swim, but I don't swim that well.
Yeah.
I fought it for the longest. And so many words of confirmation that I was supposed to come here. And I was like, okay, Lord. And then I started seeing stuff shut down. I said, okay, Lord, you win. All right, so let me start packing my bags. And I moved here on faith. I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Y'all had me quit the job. I didn't have a job. I was strictly didn't offer traveling, singing, or, stuff in the ministry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I had stopped entertainment for a minute.
Yeah.
And so I had, when I moved here, everything he promised me, he said, if you get to Houston, it'll come to pass. So, I mean, from the worldwide acclaim to the music, to the businesses, to the cars, to the houses, to the money, to, I mean, just everything. Everything started happening when I got here. And so people don't understand, and I don't want to talk over people's heads that may be watching, but divine placement is everything.
That's true.
Because you can be somewhere and be out of place and nothing flows because you're in a closed portal. You're in a closed, you're not supposed to be there.
All right.
You're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my words because I don't want to talk so educated and just big words and go over your head.
No, I want you to talk.
But it's all about being in placement at the right time for purpose and destiny to come forth. My purpose and destiny wasn't going to come forth in Dallas.
Understood.
And a lot of times, success, purpose, destiny, legacy doesn't happen in where you're from. Too much familiarity. So the respect is very minimal.
Understood that.
Until you go
now,
away.
I guess I get your point there. I think we've seen that a lot.
And then they'll be like, oh, I didn't know you. Oh, what? And it's like you get more respect and, than you did when you were actually in the city and was doing a lot then in the city and wasn't recognized, was overlooked and talked about. And all.
But isn't that, okay, so in that space, isn't that a little, I get it because we hear, we hear in media, we hear other celebrities talk about the exact same thing. How they had to move away from their town or whether the city that they're from to find success, right? Or to get, not necessarily find it, because I think success looks different for everybody.
Right.
But I'll say get the outward validation or acknowledgement of their skill set or talent. Because we've seen that a lot with comedians. We've seen that with DJs. We've seen that with other musical performers like yourself. We've seen that a lot, even with small businesses. I've seen small businesses uproot from Houston and go places like Georgia, go to New York, and all those different things.
Right.
Now, why do you think that is? Just as a question, why do you think? Because I know everybody's thing is subjective. Because for me, it was the opposite. It was the opposite.
Some things which everybody doesn't have is understanding the spiritual side of things.
Okay.
People have to understand this. There is no such thing as a coincidence.
Okay.
Whatever happened was already planned before you got here on earth. It was already orchestrated. It was already in divine plan. How you messed up and how you made a mistake and all of that was already.
It was already out there.
It was already
done.
there. So
written.
I don't look at things as coincidences.
Yeah.
I look because everybody doesn't live in a heightened place.
Oh. Ooh. Oh, William getting deep. William getting deep. I'm not saying nothing. William getting deep because I'm finna sit back and enjoy this because I know William finna go deep on this one.
And this is the spiritual side of me. And see, a lot of people don't get this side of me.
Yeah.
I have to know that you're really in sync because I can feel you. I can feel you. I can.
Yeah.
And I know who's where and who's not.
That's true.
And so when you live in a heightened place, especially when you've been through as many death experiences as I have been through, you see life in another perspective. But before even that happened, spiritually inclined and heightened in a place to where you see things beyond what they may exemplify to other people.
Yeah.
But you see what's behind it.
Ooh.
And so, you got me going deep. So, so when you when you live in that hiding place,
Yeah.
You see things in a total different perspective.
Okay.
Than normal people would see it. And I'm not talking in a normal sight. I'm talking about in a spiritual sight. Because you got to be able to supersede what is natural.
Okay. I got you.
But you got to be able to supersede it and go into your supervision spiritually before you can actually achieve it naturally. And so, I live in that place. And so when you talk to me or when you say things to me or when I'm doing something, don't ever think that I'm just sitting there in the natural, because I will zone out.
Understood.
Because I'm looking further than what you may see.
Okay.
How can I carry somebody? How can I leave an impact? How can I leave a legacy and expect people to follow if I can't lead them?
I like that. Okay. I like that.
I have to
can see
constantly
that.
be able to lead them to where I'm trying to get them to go. But you can't expect everybody to see it until it's manifested.
Because I feel like in that space they're not supposed to see it because that's for
nobody's supposed to
you,
see
right?
it. I mean, and there are very few that God will allow to see it just to give you confirmation.
Gotcha.
Now, everybody will not be in that place of your destiny or what is to come or whatever case may be. I mean, I'm a prophetic dreamer. And so I see things before they happen.
Okay.
And I saw this genre. I can't even say that. All I saw was a dream. And in the dream, I was in a bunch of newspapers.
Okay.
All over the country. And it was just going everywhere. My face was faded out, so I knew I was in the media. And a bunch of words written, but you couldn't see them. They was blurred out. So I didn't know what was getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
And then boom. Life changes like that in an instant.
But see, that's the thing. You're someone who has, you dreamed it, you lived it, you performed it, you studied your craft, and you became it.
Exactly.
In order to manifest everything that you have now. And this is the thing, you've won lots of awards. Lots of awards. And you did manifest it where it came true, and you have been in the press for years.
For years.
For years. you know?
And see, the thing about it
years.
is, a lot of people don't know this, but I've been in the press since I was in elementary school.
But see, that's just the thing. Like you
So
said,
this is
they
not- so I
they
tell
weren't
people-
supposed to see it until they were supposed to see it.
Exactly. So a lot of things may be new to you. But baby, this is what I live, eat, sleep, and breathe. I said, I've been doing this for years. I've been doing this since I was a little kid. So this is not my first rodeo. That's why a lot of people, and see, I like to get rid of this stigma of age.
Okay.
Because age don't have nothing to do with your success.
That's true.
Age don't have nothing to do with what you accomplish. Age has nothing to do with how much history you make in the world. Age has nothing to do with your legacy.
Yeah.
Age has nothing to do with your purpose and destiny. Age has nothing to do with how many awards you win.
Yeah.
Age has nothing to do with money.
Yeah.
Age has nothing to do with fame, popularity. It has nothing to do with it. Your success depends strictly on you. Your success depends strictly on your mindset and where your mindset is,
Yeah.
and how your mindset is moving for you to be able to conquer those things and actually gain what you're looking at from a spiritual standpoint that you're trying to see in the natural.
No, see, I like that. I like that because a lot of times we don't really pay attention to the universe like that. You know, a lot of people we're too busy hustling, bustling, going through the day by day.
Very religious.
Right. But I mean, okay, yeah, true. But it's like we don't see it. A lot of times we don't see it. But I like the fact that you said you're someone who always felt a certain kind of way and you knew it was already implanted in you because it's already written.
It was already written.
It's already written.
It was already
so
predestined to happen. It was just the steps that you have to take, the mistakes that you have to make, the things that you have to go through, the people that you have to, see
Yeah.
and deal with. I mean, all of that is already planned out for your journey of success. Now, you can be your own worst enemy and detour and stop
Wow.
the momentum
Okay.
of how quickly your success is supposed to happen. See, a lot of
I like
people are
that.
supposed to be in a place now to where they're not, let me use this word for better use of terms, struggling.
Wow.
Um,
Ooh. Wait a minute. Ooh. Okay, William. Okay. So.
Because
But what is the struggle? I look at it from that standpoint, right? Because I say, what is the struggle? A lot of times, success looks like,
I'll say this.
monetary value. It looks like things you can buy.
struggling to move into the fullness of who you are.
Okay. I like that.
That's why I say struggle. So a lot of people are struggling because they've allowed other entities and other people and other whatever to influence,
Okay.
or they've allowed word curses that they haven't uprooted or cut off to have residence in their life. And so because that is happening, where you should have been 10 years ago, you are behind schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And have not moved into the fullness of who you are, or the fullness of your value or your worth, and even your purpose and destiny. You don't even know what you're supposed to be doing here on earth. You're just going around in circles because what's around you. I said people don't understand this, that spirits have influence, and it's a real thing. It's
Yeah.
not fake. I
Yeah.
said it actually happens and will take you in a whirlwind.
I look back at my time, because I ain't going to age myself, okay? But, anybody that's ever, I ain't going to age myself. But I will say this. I like the fact that when you're talking about age, doesn't matter in regards to your legacy and your influence. I think when I was in my 20s, I was afraid of that. I was never afraid to fail. I was always afraid to succeed because I had to look at my circle, right?
And a lot of times the circle was full of older people.
Right, but you get my point. It
Right.
was kind of like, dang, these are people that have known me from childhood. These are people that I gravitated to in college and in that space and in my early adult life. This is my circle, like this is my tribe.
Exactly.
So for me, I was scared of success because what's going to happen when I get bigger than my tribe? You see what I mean?
That's
you
why a
get
lot
what
of
I
my
mean?
tribe is gone, excommunicated.
Well, but I think I had to look at it from a different space.
I mean, you look at a different space. I mean, people are supposed to be there for the job they're supposed to do for whatever time in the period of season they're supposed to be.
Good point.
But you also have to look at it as everybody can't go into the mountain with you.
That's true.
And everybody can't be in the valley low
True.
with you because everybody doesn't have the capacity.
Oh, you can say that. Oh, you can say. Don't even hang on that one. You can say that again. And the reason why I asked that question of you because
Everybody doesn't. I'll say this, and then I'll let you. Everybody doesn't have, because it just dropped in my head. Everybody doesn't. I'm a walking revelation. I really am. I mean, stuff will be in my brain, and I just have to get it out there. And that's just how I've been for all of my life. I just speak truth, just revelation. But a lot of people can't handle the capacity of your greatness or the capacity of what your legacy will become.
wow.
Whew, I felt that. That was good. Because a lot of them can't see what you see. A lot of them are not really in sync or in frequency with your journey.
That's true.
And so a lot of them we give access to that really shouldn't have access.
That's true. But I will say this. I am glad that as a part of my journey that I've been able to meet you.
Oh, same here.
And I like to give flowers on my show. I want to say thank you for always being that phone call that I can make. And the thing about it is, look, we don't talk about business. Sometimes we talking about food.
Right.
We
Talk about folks.
Look, you be talking about other folks. I just sit there and listen and go, regardless if I agree or don't agree. But I like the fact that you are someone who is very open with your knowledge. And I think that's one of the things that you and I have in common. I know that's why we bonded,
Right.
because we're okay with giving away that knowledge and giving that tip to the next generation or the next entrepreneur, next performer,
Exactly.
next person in entertainment, because, I mean, we got to uplift each other.
Exactly. And I say this, I mean, and I say this all the time. I said, and I think I say it even more now because of what I've gone through.
Yeah.
And my illnesses and sicknesses and things that, I mean, supposed to have been dead from.
Yeah.
Is that you don't know the day, the hour, the time, or even how
That's true.
you're going to get up out of here. And so every day should be a day of some type of progress, some type of success, or you leaving some type of message or some type of knowledge to somebody. Because when you're dead and gone, somebody has to carry it on.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, William Campbell, I like the way your legacy is looking so far.
This is me too, because I'm here to see it, okay?
Well, you know, and I think that's something that's important too, because I look at the strength that you as an artist take. A lot of people don't realize what it takes to actually sit down, write lyrics to songs, put your heart out on paper, even really to be photographed in the public. A lot of times people don't realize like what strength they actually take. They look at the highlight reels and the Facebook plugs and the different things like that. They look at the awards, they look at all of that, but they don't realize what sacrifice it even takes. Because this is the thing. Look, I was a brand and didn't even know I was a brand. And here I am with someone who was helping people build brands. I didn't know that I was a brand.
Same here. I mean, had no idea that this would be the turnout of my life as quickly as it happened.
Yeah.
And that you're branded. I mean, of course, I had my corporations and companies. I mean, that's a brand in itself.
Yeah.
But to have your own brand as a genre of music globally, that is, I mean, it's been, when I tell you it has been 20 times worse than what it was when I was just a artist and an actor and a model and, you know, a CEO and, you know, just having the fame and celebrity. Yeah. But when you tap into that, it's like you don't see any of it coming, and so you have to quickly adjust your life to that being your norm for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Wake up to it, go to sleep to it. And I was like, oh my God. I mean the mental.
Yeah.
And people don't like to talk about the mental state of us in the public limelight or in the press constantly or in the news constantly or having to be the standard that everybody looks up to or the impact. And people don't understand this. The more accolades you get, the more value. The more people see like, oh, the more people admire you. And so that your level of admiration is constantly growing. Your level of value, your level of worth is constantly going to a high level. But with that comes so much other warfare.
It does. And I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of times people don't realize it's not so much as what you've achieved, what American dream or whatever dream you come up with. People don't realize, like, sometimes it could be a little bit scary as you climb.
Oh, yeah.
And as entrepreneurs, we don't talk about that much. We don't talk about the fact that, you know, when we're dealing with illness, we still got to show up. When we're dealing with deaths, we still got to show up. We don't talk about the fact that, that peer pressure is real thing, even as an adult, even in the limelight. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about depression and mental illness and being entrepreneurs. Like, we don't talk about those things. And then you're dealing with your everyday life stuff as well. And of course, we're in the entertainment side, but like you said, you own other companies, other brands, other things that you have to keep afloat.
You have another, you still have your own life.
Yeah.
And when that life is invaded,
yeah,
I mean, you don't have too much privacy. I mean, I was telling somebody the other day, when I had bought my Acura last year, that was all in the media and Google. I'm like,
why?
that's what I'm saying. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
It's just a car.
I mean, you little things. I mean, you can't even post. I mean, because it's gonna end up in the media. So I mean, it's just like.
I get you on that because I had to figure out. I think for me, when someone brought it to my attention, like, hey, you realize you're a brand, you gotta watch what you post, and I kept saying, but I want people to get to know the human side of me. I want them to understand,
and
like,
see,
I'm a human and I have frustrations too.
Exactly.
But I want people to see that. I'm cool with people seeing me with the bad hair and all of that, and you know what I mean,
right.
and just in some sweats and a t-shirt. Just
I mean, I want you to because I've been asked so many times, which is crazy. Am I a real person?
Well, okay. So, funny story. That happened to me once too, but it happened. Someone booked a consult, and they saw me on a billboard, and they heard me on the radio. So they booked an appointment with me just to see, because it was like, it's no way possible someone is this nice, this caring about other people, where they're pitching in their time, writing checks, doing whatever for the space of business. Like, I was like, okay, so wait, you booked an appointment with me just to come in my office and shake my hand? And this guy did. He booked an appointment, paid for the appointment for the hour, and just to come in and shake my hand. And told me thank you, because he heard good things in the street about me, but he had never met me. He had only heard me on the radio a couple of times.
Wow.
Saw me on a billboard, but people were talking about me. And the thing about it was that, like, for me, it was a humbling moment, and me and him took pictures in my office and all that, and he was so excited, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm just waking up every day doing what I love,
Right.
and if it's helping somebody, cool.
Exactly.
I never thought about the global impact that I was doing. I never thought about it like that.
I mean, and you never think about it, because it's not a selfish gain.
Right.
And so, I mean, you go gain something. I mean, everybody wants to gain something. But your overall outlook and vision is to help somebody else, or to impact somebody's life, or change somebody's life. So whatever you create, whatever you build, whatever you orchestrate, whatever you have put in place, I mean, that's the focal point. So it's never, and people, I used to get this a lot, that a lot of people be afraid to talk to me.
I still get that.
I mean, even now sometimes. I mean,
I still get that. I was told that I was intimidating and all of that. But you know what I did? But I'm going to tell you what I did to kind of break that with people, especially business people that you're trying to do business with. And everybody has a different way of doing things, of breaking the ice, right? Because I'm sure you have your way of breaking your ice when you meet people. But you know what I do? I invite them out to lunch. And I show up in a T-shirt and some sweats. Because
I mean, you know that I'm still human.
Yes,
I still got
I want you to understand who I might show up in some jeans or something and a shirt. I want you to understand, like, I'm not someone who's unapproachable, right? Because a lot of times people that's in the media, especially like someone like you that's in entertainment, travel around the world, written songs for world-known artists, like, I'm sure you get that a lot. Like, for me, I always look at myself like, well, hey, I'm just a small piece of a bigger puzzle that we're all, that we're all on this earth for our own purpose and drive. And I feel like everybody, if they tap into their purpose and drive, think about where we could be as a society. So that's why I like the fact
picture.
They got to see it. But I'm glad that it's people out there like you that's really influencing people. Like you said, age does not hold you back in your accomplishing your legacy. And here you are, still relatively a very young man who is out here doing a lot of amazing things. But this is the question I have for you. Mm-hmm. What's next for William Campbell? What's next? Look, let's be real. Model, actor, songwriter, community activist, someone who's a philanthropist who fundraises for different causes, like a multi-award-winning professional, You know what I mean?
Have my own genre. I mean, I don't really.
Have your own genre. What's next for William Campbell?
I mean, my thing about it is, where I'm at right now is just building on top of all of that.
Okay.
Until, God shows me something different. Or whatever it may be. But as for right now, all that you just mentioned, that's the zone or the place that I'm in right now.
Okay.
And that could be years.
I love it.
I'm still going to keep building it.
I like watching the show. I'm
Right.
not going to sit here and tell you anything different. I like to sit back and watch the William Campbell show. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of times people don't realize iron sharpens iron.
Oh, yeah.
When I see my friends succeed, I love it. I celebrate it, and I feel it within my core. And my thing is this: I love the fact that you post, because you never know who in the next generation is watching you,
And
thinking
it's
of the
crazy.
same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like when we talk about impact and we talk about legacy, we have to think about that. Like the generation that's coming behind us, what are we doing to pull them up?
Yeah, exactly. I can't even count on two hands. It's too many people.
Yeah.
That I have either mentored, gave advice to, gave platforms to, have given wisdom and knowledge to.
Yeah.
Have trained, have taught. So it's just. And then young people are my heart. Youth is my heart. So that's always going. Anytime it's something for youth, I always take that opportunity,
Yeah.
whether it's paid or not,
Yeah.
to go and speak or whatever it may be. I've spoken on some of the biggest platforms.
Yeah.
The number one business conference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I was a keynote speaker. This was the
Love
time
it.
of COVID, so it was virtual. It's called Success Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know. I'm in a place now, just like me put out there. I'm in a revolutionary
Oh, I like that.
evolution phase of my life. I'm in my last year of my 20s.
Go ahead on.
So I'm crossing over to 30 in October.
Oh, I remember them days.
Woo!
Ooh,
And
I remember that. I remember that.
I'm crossing over to 30 in
Okay.
October 29th, which is, as you know,
Yeah.
my national day, the King of Gospel Soul National Day. So, it's sometimes I have to pinch myself, because sometimes you feel like you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Like, did I actually accomplish and do all of this in my 20s? That lets you know that it doesn't matter what comes your way.
Well, and you have done it, and you have overcame, and you have succeeded, and I definitely thank you. So, William, part of this show, we call it the fast track. Everybody knows the fast track. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I want you to give me the first answer, no explanation, that come on the top of your head, right? Because, listen, we talked about the journey, but I want to get a few business tips, right? So, William Campbell, just off the top of your head, what's your power uniform when you walk out the door? What's that one thing that I want an outfit that's just like, yeah?
My gold outfit.
Okay. Oh, it's flashy. Okay,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
flashy.
you
It's
said-
flashy. I seen it. All right. Okay. Next question. Best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Don't mix personal with public.
All right. Very good. Last question. How would you tell others to create their legacy?
Well, first you have to understand who you are as a person.
Okay.
You can't build a legacy on nothing.
Ooh. Look,
You can't build a legacy empty.
oh,
You
listen. What we gonna do? We're gonna bring William back for a part 2 of this. William, tell people your socials where they can contact you, connect with you, and book with you, sir.
So you can follow me on Instagram at the King of Gospel Soul. You can follow me on Facebook, William Campbell. You can for bookings, you can email the King of Gospel Soul mgmt@gmail.com. Like I said, you can follow me on Facebook at William Campbell. You can also follow me on Instagram at the King of Gospel Soul.
William Campbell, thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
being my guest today.
I'm
Listen,
honored.
the King of Gospel Soul, what can I say? You already know what it is. It's another episode of the Business Knowledge Broker Hour with Candace Joseph. Thank you guys for joining me today. And you already know, this CEO is out.
The Business Knowledge Broker Hour.
Hey, yo, Guru, you ready?
Business, marketing, accounting, social media, resources, strategies, tips,